$5 gets you. Oh, a premium account is required to stream. I am switching off on that one, and I'm putting us back on the old Facebook.
Right, they just must have recently changed that.
Yeah, they changed it. Oh well, guess what? I ain't paying for Twitter for the SideQuest, your weekly journey into the wonderful world of video games and video game culture, brought to you by some absolutely wonderful geeks. Me and that guy JJ right there. How you going? How you doing, JJ?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, good, very good. Did you have a good week?
No, not really.
Oh,
but
did it start with my Detroit Lions throttling your Seattle Seahawks?
See, yeah, sports don't like. I love watching my team, but when they lose, it means I don't give a shit. I don't feel that. The only time I ever felt physical pain was the Super Bowl moment. That was the only time, and I was over it by the next day.
You were over it.
I don't. Yeah.
I was at the. I ended up going to the game on Monday, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, look at that cool guy glasses. Those are actually pretty dope glasses.
These are official PAX West Zenny optical. I don't know if this will pick up on the
I see. Look at that. Ooh.
Yeah, they got the PAX West logo on them. They came in a PAX case complete with PAX West microfiber cloth. So what?
That's dope.
They were the sponsor of the indie booth this year at West. So and it was the 20th anniversary of PAX. So that was just kind of the thing. I have to get prescription. You could buy gamer glasses there,
sure,
but I have to have prescriptions. And I just said, I just want these for the novelty of it. These aren't going to be my day-to-day glasses, but I didn't get any bells and whistles on them, as you can see by the reflection of my monitor. I didn't get any coatings, but I like them.
Cool.
I'm happy
That's
with
good.
them. Yeah.
They look like they got a nice light feel to them too, which is
they are very and they sit flush to my face, which is these are really good for my VR headset.
Oh yeah, good. Oh, you could. Sweet. Okay.
Flush to my face, and yeah.
You're gonna have VR stuff to talk about later too, which is always good.
Not this week.
Not this week. But later on, you get some VR stuff. In fact, it's funny because we get asked for so many VR codes to like review for SideQuest, and we tend to turn them down, and then they'll sort of go away. But the minute we like one, like we'll review or let me rephrase it. Okay, JJ will review this. All of a sudden, we'll get like 50 different people. Hey, we're gonna send you a code right now for this other game. For this game, I'm like, cool. I can't wait for yet another.
I'll
strategy
take whatever.
You'll take whatever.
That's the thing. That's the thing about VR. I always take the things. I always want the things that are at least unique. Like it's like because everything else is like it's either a strategy game or a teleporting shooter game. Like okay, but there's some interesting stuff. I tried to. They just released a Hitman game that looks atrocious. Like they put out Hitman, the World of Assassination, specifically for the Quest, and it looks bad. Like
wow. It's I got to get VR eventually.
No, they just announced the 3S.
The S, which is what I'm. It's funny because I've owned a couple VR sets. I'm doing this hand thing. I've owned a couple VR sets in the past, but it's kind of fallen off because there just wasn't a ton of stuff coming out for it, and really the PSVR 2 dying before it even released killed VR for me. So I don't need to get VR because what I may need to get is a new computer. Here's how my week went. Great on a high with the Lions on Monday, on a high with the Tigers sweeping the hated Astros on Tuesday, Wednesday. Man, I was living life, all excited. Today, everything's great. It's fantastic. This morning, I have you can't see, but I have my work laptop is over here, my work computer, my big old drawing tablet, and then the PC that I work on is typically here. This is where my gamer PC would be. And it's also my Windows, my laptop that I do my gaming my game dev stuff on. And it's sort of, it's 50-50 in terms of amount of usage I put into for PCs around the house for personal stuff. Anywho, long story short, holding my coffee mug, looking at my work computer, and I turned over here real quick. And as I scooted in, I must have bumped the bottom. This was like right before lunch. I bumped the bottom of my mug of coffee, and next thing I know, it just went whoosh, whoosh. Oh, I mean, it was like pouring out. I'm like, oh, fuck me, it's over. It's done. I'm past the 5-minute mark anyways. Fuck me, damn it, it's over. Fried my computer. Immediately turned it all off right away. Unplugged everything. I guess maybe that's what you're supposed to do. Took a paper towel that I had here and just threw it on top of the keyboard. Ran over into the kitchen, grabbed the whole paper towel roll, came over here, tipped the computer over, and coffee was pouring out of where the keys were. I'm just like, it's over. This laptop was my COVID purchase to myself. I figured, because I had been using an old PC laptop, and now that I was getting into more of streaming, I was kind of learning how to do streaming better and doing a bunch of stuff in 2020. I'm like, I need an actual computer that has the horsepower. My other computer was like a 2015, so it had been 5 years since I had upgraded. So I thought, cool. Anyways, had this guy for 4 years, running fantastic, zero issues with it. Some very slight slowdowns here and there, but that's kind of normal for computers of this age. But still, ran fantastic. So here I was, freaked out. What's going to happen? I tried to disassemble it. Of course, it's a mess to disassemble. It's like impossible for me to disassemble this thing. I was learning like neurosurgery on this sucker. I took some parts out. I like removed the battery, put wiped some stuff with had to be very careful with the paper products that I use to wipe things down, get some of the remaining liquid out of there. And then I left it face down. And every time I'd pick it up, there'd be like puddles of coffee underneath it. I'm like, man, this is horrible. Anywho, I'm using it now. This is what I'm recording our podcast on. So computers, I will say, and I probably shouldn't be using it at this exact moment, but I do think I cleared enough of it out. They've gotten really good at sealing and developing like the layers of stuff on computers, because everything was really the only thing on top of the the chips and everything, the inner workings of this bad boy was the keyboard. Everything was sort of facing down and away from the keyboard. So you had the layer of the keyboard, and then you had everything was sort of flat there, and then underneath, I'm not a computer guy, so I'm using just dumb terms. Everything was kind of facing down and away from, so none of that stuff actually got wet, which was actually pretty cool. So we'll see how this goes. I'll probably have sticky keys forever, but
that's only if you hit shift 5 times. But I open and fiddle around inside of laptops regularly. Side of a sort of a side hustle I got going on, right? Sometimes
send this guy over to you.
Sometimes there's e-waste. There's places that just get garbage, and sometimes that garbage is e-waste, and the dump can't do anything with it. So you can easily get a free laptop out of the equation every once in a while. And so we get a lot of laptops coming through here, and MacBooks and stuff. And so I've become very adept at opening them up, knowing how to get them open, and knowing where pieces go and how they go, understanding certain things. Like I couldn't build a computer from scratch.
Me neither.
But I can definitely tear one open and clean it out real nice and get things in order. So
I was surprised. They did a pretty good job of sealing this stuff up.
That's the thing. Laptops in particular are super resilient. They're designed to to handle that kind of stuff. And even so, like there's not really a lot that can, like, unless you have power running through it.
Right.
That's sort of the thing. Like just liquid being on it isn't is never going to be the end of the world. There's certain things you don't want the water to get into, and as long as it's not those things, you'll be fine. As long as you don't get it in like the power delivery.
Yeah. And that was all that looked super nice and clean, and it was in fact, if anything, once I took as much apart as I could, I was able to clean the fan. I'm like, oh shit, this fan was kind of dusty. So in the end, it maybe helped. But yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is the coffee, the sugar and the coffee corroding things down the line. So
yeah, that's sugar in particular is where the problem's going to run, because it's going to get warm and then it's going to cool. And that's when you get caramel, my friend.
Yeah. So like I said, eventually I'll have to find someone, unless I hang out with you. It's going to be a long time till PAX West, but unless I hang out with you or somebody beforehand who can help me disassemble this guy a little bit better to clean some of that stuff out. But I tried to get as much as I could, knowing that I'm sure there's more on there. But other than that, it's running. So but I now will be shutting it off after every use, and I won't be just leaving it on, letting it draw battery and draw heat and all that kind of stuff because of that. So, anywho, let's get on to a little bit of news. Wasn't a ton of news this week, which is good. That's why we're recording on Friday. I went and saw Le Joker. Was it Joker Folie à Deux yesterday? And it is Folie à Deux. Very skippable. 6 out of 10, so it didn't even hit the 7. I get what they were trying to do, but they didn't accomplish it. I will say, Joaquin Phoenix, again, just a stellar performance. Lady Gaga, stellar performance, but there was zero story to prop. You can't just have great performances and not have a story, So, but it's probably worth. I mean, see it if you liked the first Joker movie. As I mentioned, it really feels more like an epilogue or DLC for the first Joker movie than a whole movie on its own.
I just realized my ring light makes it look like I'm the elusive man.
I freaking love that. That's pretty cool. You shit like this. News-wise, again, like I said, not a whole lot of news. However, there was something that I thought was kind of interesting. It sort of broke today. And we've been giggling about it and trying to figure out who would actually want this. And that is Halo is getting a third-person mode, everybody. Halo's getting a third-person mode because reasons. You can see the screen here. So for some reason, Halo's getting a third-person Fortnite-ish looking mode.
Well, you just answered the question why.
I just answered the question why. So they can sell skins. It's in Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you can actually see they got different skins and stuff and designs here. So
it's one thing for your opponents to see how you're dressed, but
let's
be honest, you want to see how you're dressed.
You want to see how you're dressed. You want to show off. So, I keep forgetting Halo Infinite is still going. I enjoyed it when I played it back in 2020. I tried to get through the campaign a little bit, but because it was so online multiplayer focused that it just didn't grab me.
It had that weird launch too.
Yeah, it did.
Was it multiplayer first, then single player? Or was it the other way around?
It was the other way around, I think.
Yeah. Whatever. It's wild that we live in a universe where both Halo and Bungie are not the most dominating game/companies on the planet. Yeah. I never would have guessed we would be in this state
right
now. But here we are.
It's the guys who did what Jazz Jackrabbit are number one right now. No, it's like, I mean, Halo is still solid. It's just it's still fun when you get people together. There's just so much competition right now that what can you do? Yeah. And I really feel like you can't really. I mean, could you reboot Halo? I guess you could reboot it again for the 18th time. It seems like they're always rebooting Halo, but
see, because okay, so the deal with Halo was that when it came out, it was top of its class, and was doing something that was kind of heretofore unheard of, where just this level of multiplayer gameplay was reserved for PCs.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, and to have something of this caliber, of this scale, like even Halo 1 that was LAN only, but then you get Halo 2 that was online, which is a game changer.
Right.
I mean, games were doing it, even, you know, even console games. Console games were already doing it.
Yep.
But like, it was just Halo was top of its class. It refined everything and is the grandfather of what sort of the modern online, like especially console like multiplayer shooter experience was.
Yeah.
Where everyone aped it. Like going forward, like Call of Duty was not an online multiplayer, like it was a World War II war sim leading up to the 4th game, and then that came out, and then the tide starts to shift a little bit. Halo stayed big, but now everyone's able to be as good as Halo.
Right.
So in order for Halo to recapture that is almost a Sisyphean feat. Because what they're going to have to offer something so big to like reclaim the throne.
So different.
Yes,
really
different at this point. Now, I don't even know what that is. Like, because somebody else already found what that different was with the battle royale concept. Which took over for a while. Things are going, and it's still. I mean, they have Fortnite's its own beast now. I don't even know where PUBG and you know, extraction shooters are.
PUBG is still just as big, or not, if not bigger than Fortnite, surprisingly, in a weird way.
Yeah, and vertical extraction shooters are hot right now too. So you know, they have. They have a name. That's kind of what they have right now, and they need to leverage that into something different, I think.
No, I completely
not
agree.
necessarily something different in terms of like make an RTS game like they already did or whatever. I mean, something that they need to figure out a new core multiplayer concept. And I'm not neither of us are game developers, so we don't know what that is. That's somebody else's job, but it's out there. It's out there. Somebody's gonna find the next big thing, and it could be Halo.
I'm like, I'd love if, and I don't, again, not game developers. I don't know how they how they do these multiplayer games. You almost want to do like live gaming sessions with people, like actually go out with like paintball guns in, you know, 343 has got to be like, all right, we're getting people together for like 6 months every weekend. We're going to go out. We're going to try to play something a little different. We're going to keep playing with these rules till we find something that we physically play that's a lot of fun. We can translate that over into, you know, Halo.
I really would like to see like a Halo, just like streamline, like Halo Classic, where it's just it's like we've got like, this is our normal Halo thing, but we've got like, this is just we've fine-tuned and streamlined, and it's a cheap like capture the flag / team deathmatch Halo, just for it, because just for you know, casual play or whatever, something like it's.
I mean, one thing they really can do is really lean into the community aspect. And that's what, like, Fortnite community. Still have Halo 2 collectors there. You're nice.
Everyone does.
Fortnite, we play Fortnite and you may be screaming at other people, but it's not like a community thing. Again, I play Fortnite sparingly once in a long while, but Halo has the community. They have this news came out of the Halo 2024 championships, which I had heard a single peep out of. It wasn't reported anywhere until this news came out. But you know, Halo can focus on that community. It can focus on create tournaments. Do, you know? I look at like Splatoon, the stuff that Splatoon does, and Nintendo, for some stupidly weird reason, has been doing a great job with Splatoon. It's I don't know how much it sells, but I starting to feel it sells more than Halo does in a weird way, which would be weird to say, but you know, because they built up a community. They focus on community and fun and that kind of side. They didn't create a game to compete with other games, and I really think Microsoft can leverage. I mean, they have the systems, the software. all that stuff is the community side. All that stuff is, potentially better than what the Epic has. So
I just
lean
think
into that.
I just think Infinite is might be too bloated for some people's tastes.
It is. To start new, I agree.
I think boy, if you could just make a new Halo 3, figure that shit out. I don't know. It's too many games try to leverage sort of the current trend of Twitch, everything's got to be twitchable or whatever. It's especially with multiplayer games. That's why. And yeah, I mean, I get it.
I mean, maybe maybe that community aspect within Microsoft, and had they held on to Mixer. But maybe if you're, one of the things I loved about the 360 that a lot of us loved was the community. We would all get together and play 1 versus 100 at the same time. We would line up and we'd watch movies together. We would play Mortal Kombat, but you'd quarter up essentially and watch other people play and then jump in. And there are things they do with Twitch, like Twitch plays, that are always cool. I'd love for some community stuff to come into this where all the viewers are, they're the bad guys. So they can, you have a map and you can select where you want brutes or whatever, where you want some of these guys the enemies to drop, where you want items to drop, and you let the players kind of, I don't know. I think there could be a lot of fun stuff you could do with the community that Microsoft is just. I don't know if they're doing it. But whatever.
There's something. There's Halo as it stands right now is never going to be Halo again until that new thing comes along. If that new thing comes along, you never know. Everything old is new again at some point.
Oh, exactly.
In another 5 years, the big, massive, huge, everyone's going to want to scale it back down to 16v16 instead of 250 people on the battlefield ready to go or whatever.
Sure.
1,000 people watching you play this game. It's that stuff's going to start to scale down at some point. And you're going to be excited to see remember how excited you would be when you were playing and then somebody's name would pop up on the 360 dashboard and you're like, oh shit, I'm going to challenge them to a fucking game mode.
For sure. Totally.
Nowadays I turn off all those notifications. Stop bothering me.
Me too. And you're right. And they missed the boat because they waited forever to get Halo Infinite out. They missed the whole. Remember, it was going to be Xbox One, and then they pushed it to the Xbox Series, and that Halo could have been massive over the pandemic, massive for that aspect of the community side. Where my friend's online, let me hop into a game with them real quick. I mean, maybe I don't know. We can brainstorm ideas.
Microsoft effectively killing off what made the 360 so successful. Is what ended up killing Halo, if we're going to be honest.
That's brilliant.
They removed every bit of soul out of sort of the operating system of the Xbox consoles going forward, where now it's nothing. It's all just a mess of menus and stuff. The 360 was super, super neat in the way it took a while for all that to get there, but once you got parties and
and they called it parties, and it was and
it was narrow. It wasn't you could just. It's like what we use what we use Discord for now was just sort of the default for online gaming in general. In the mid aughts, but.
We would log on to Xbox Live and do parties while we're playing. I remember. I forget who I was chatting with, but we were on Xbox Live and I had my headset on and I was there and chatting while a couple of the guys were playing maybe Halo or Call of Duty. A couple other, one other person was playing some RPG on the PS3 and I was playing Mario Odyssey or Mario Galaxy 2 or something. And that was we were all on Xbox. You know, it was cool, and I really wish that
and on the fly you could just like, hey, you just want to play a couple of rounds of Street Fighter 2 HD, and they'd be like, yeah, let's go, and you could just easily send an invite, and there it goes.
Man.
The 360 is one of the all-time greats, man.
It really was for what it did, and then what we lost.
Yeah, in an instant, like they learned nothing from the success of the 360.
Really, yeah.
And then they saw what they saw with the 360.
It's coming in November, by the way, this Halo update.
Yeah. What they saw in the success of the 360 was that everyone liked to use Netflix on their Xbox 360, and so then that was what their future purpose was.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Next bit of news here. We have so you've heard of the Switch 2, right?
No.
Whatever it's no, never heard of it. Well, before the Switch 2 comes out, Nintendo has been hot and heavy in really shutting down all the emulators for Switch 1. The latest is Ryujinx.
Yeah.
So this was probably the other big. There were a few that are big, but this is probably, Yuzu is like
this was number
Yuzu.
2.
This is number 2.
Yeah.
So they're really going chopping these down. Likely because the Switch 2 might be built on some of the same structure as the original Switch. That's fine. Also, they want people to carry their games over onto the new Switch and make that a selling point. But yeah, so they pressured the developer. As reported by Oatmeal Dome, the open source emulator has been shut down by its lead developer. Yeah, basically approached by Nintendo and shortly removed. Essentially, Nintendo said, "We will sue your ass into oblivion if you do not get this on it."
Yeah, you get one email.
Yeah, that's exactly. You get one email. Otherwise, you pay. And this was, a lot of these, the biggest emulators usually have they'll get some type of legal representation because they do have, they have big teams. They'll have teams behind them. They have websites. They have to get some legal stuff. As you start going down the line, though, there's less and less capability to defend yourself. And in Ryujinx, I mean, Yuzu tried for a minute there, but then, they had to give up. Now, Ryujinx, like overnight, just like, we're done. Oh, click. And I reckon that down the line, you may see groups shutting down their emulators before even getting approached by Nintendo. But it's for guys like Zach and Taylor who may like to play their Switch emulations on the
Nintendo.
Zach
and Taylor.
Zach and Taylor. No, Taylor Swift. Zach Brown and Taylor Swift is who we're talking about. But no, a lot of folks are playing Switch games on their Steam Decks and on their PCs. Obviously, that's what this is for. So it's just another slow chopping away of the emulation scene. However, you can go on your phone and play a bunch of NES and Super NES and PC Engine and PC games. So I'm just curious when something like that could pop up on your iOS devices. Yeah, I was playing. Let's see, I had the PlayStation one on here, but that one really sucked in performance. But I've been playing, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, DS games on my phone here.
Oh, yeah, you got Delta.
Yeah, I got Delta. Delta's great.
I mean, RetroArch is on there.
Is RetroArch up on iOS?
Yeah, it's on. Okay. You can just get it straight from the App Store now.
It's just, that's the best part. You don't have to sideload them. It's like just go into the App Store and download it. So, yeah. And then I think the last little news bite, and this is maybe something that it is multiplayer based, but it's something that we predicted when this game was announced. And we're wondering, why isn't this free to play? Well, Foam Stars is now officially free to play starting today. They've the game they announced last year that they were all excited about, Square Enix was all excited about because it was going to take on Splatoon, is didn't do diddly. It probably had a nice launch, and then after that,
well, it launched on PlayStation Plus, so like,
yeah. So yeah, free to play October 3rd. Well, it's October 4th. Yeah. Well, yesterday, I guess. So, yeah, it's
it's fine.
still
I think it's a perfectly fine game. It's very
it's
fun.
fine.
It's
Was it
absolutely
cromulent,
cromulent.
corpsicle,
Cromulent. That's the Simpsons word.
cromulent.
Cromulent.
Yeah. But whatever. Hey,
It's cool. I
it's
mean,
fine.
you always get
Will it
that
gain
thing.
traction? I
Yeah,
don't know.
no,
I don't think it will.
you always get that thing where people like who are super into it, like when PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale came out, and it was like,
Yeah.
it's not Smash Brothers, it's different.
Trust me. Yeah.
Yeah, and
This
it's
is
like,
not
okay,
Splatoon, guys. It's totally different. Sure.
yeah, you have those stalwart. It's like, it's okay. It's okay to make other versions of a popular thing. Like, that's a smart move for somebody to do, is to make their own family friendly shooter like Splatoon does.
Right.
Like that. I don't think Square Enix was the studio to publish this, but like I think it's a perfectly fine game. It's good. It's not bad. It's just whatever. I mean,
Sure.
it doesn't have the same level of charm that Splatoon has. That's the Nintendo. That's the Nintendo sauce. Is the charm that they're able to give ridiculous things.
That
like,
is true. Yeah.
like,
They can.
Like Smash Brothers is Smash Brothers. Like, yeah, it's the you have the characters and everything, but also just like a charm of this sort of like what's a stripped down fighting game designed specifically just to create anger amongst your friends, as opposed to like being competitive, even though people make it competitive. Like, that's not the heart of Smash Brothers. And same thing with Splatoon. Like, it can be competitive. We've seen it competitive.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
Nintendo sort of does their own competitive thing, but they do it in such a playful way that it's not competitive. Like, I never feel like I hate playing a lot of online shooters because I just hate losing. It makes me feel bad. It makes me feel like I'm letting somebody down. But when it's like Splatoon, like when it's Splatoon, I don't care. It's Splatoon.
Yeah. We love playing Splatoon in our. We are very much a Splatoon.
This is a Splatoon house. I will not see any foam around here.
Yeah, man. But no. So yeah. Okay, we are going to move on to games that we've been playing, and it's really been you. Obviously, for me, like I mentioned, some of the sporf stuff, and my computer blowing up. But I am. You mentioned a little bit that you were playing Zelda. I'm about to start Zelda because Echoes of Wisdom. I like to play a game to completion before I start, at least the bigger games, before I start another game. Now, this is for games that I'm not reviewing, and I've been my limited time means I'm focusing more on these review copies, and then hopping in whenever I have free time onto my other platforms, which is why I still haven't gotten Astrobot, because I'm waiting to complete this game that I'm talking about, and that's Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I'm finally in the last freaking chapter. Charming game. It's a fun game, charming game. I definitely see where I've spoken about it before. I see where Paper Mario went from this. The writing on this is it's freaking fantastic. I think it's
the only Nintendo game that I would say was well written.
It is well written and it's hilarious. Like the writing is genuinely funny. It is genuinely funny, risque writing.
Yeah.
We got to talk about putting pants on Dragon Quest characters. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. There's a whole Dragon Quest drama, but
listen, there is an easy way to look at Dragon Quest characters without pants if you really need to.
Yeah, you can Google it. But no, so yeah, Mario A Thousand Year Door. I'm glad I'm just about done with that thing, and I'm gonna hop into Zelda because I have that sitting right here, and then it's gonna be Astrobot, ladies and gentlemen. Astrobot. It's gonna be after that. So you are playing Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. You were just talking a little bit about it in the pre-show.
The private pre-show.
The private pre-show. And you're saying how it just kind of starts to go off in just wild.
Yeah, it's following all the Zelda stuff where you know how it's
modern Zelda.
Yeah. Well, modern Zelda, like if you think about Link to the Past, you start off looking for those 3 amulets
Yeah.
And then after you do that, then it's like, okay, congratulations, you completed the tutorial section of Zelda.
Yeah.
Now here's where you have to do all the big stuff.
Here's the actual game.
Yeah,
right,
and that's where it's just like the initial story is resolved, but kind of thing. So yeah, no, I'm a big fan. It's just funny how they keep introducing like new ways to use different powers
That's
and
exactly
stuff. Like,
what. Yeah.
it's just like all of a sudden it's like, oh, now I have to like figure. Oh, this is the wind. I have to control the wind now, huh? Okay, yeah.
Have you started like figuring out how to cheese stuff?
Oh, it's hard to tell sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Because like sometimes you just like, did I cheese this? But also like I don't know how else you would have done it or whatever. Like there is a item that you get very early in the game, which is
The
just
Wand of Gamelon.
yes, the Wand of Gamelon, where it turns Zelda into a live action character.
Yep.
No, it's you get this echo that you get to throw, which is a block of water, like it's Minecraft. And you can sort of use that to get wherever you want, however you want. You can just make as long as it's 4 blocks high, you can just stack 4 water blocks on top of it and get to there. Really easy. Or 4 blocks across. Like it's like between that and the beds, you are an unstoppable force of traversal. So I'm assuming at some point there's going to be certain stages. I have to assume the water blocks are going to be really useless where I'm at right now, which is the volcano section. But yeah, man, it's a fun game. It's not going to win any awards this year. I think 1 or 2 Game of the Year awards from a couple of outlets, probably smaller outlets or something. But it's just a really solid late generation sort of like Zelda concept made live. Like it feels like Zelda still, but like
nice.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying my time with it so far.
Sweet. You've been playing a game, review game. You've been playing a review game that's actually a bunch of games from the olden days.
The wide world of Atari. That's actually what the DLC is called. The wider world.
The wider world of Atari.
So they've announced 2 different DLC packs. So you got this one, the wider world of Atari, and then they got the Console Wars coming out in November. So this is one of 2. It adds a new timeline.
Cool.
Packed with all of the stuff from it's not just games. It actually has this, as you can see, it actually has documentaries and stuff like that to go with it. So a lot more. It's like a lot of stuff about like a whole section about the history of one of the whole things was about sort of like Atari's like art design.
Cool. That's for me.
So like it has the it talks to, I forget her name, the woman that like inked and painted like the original Atari logo and like the typeface and everything. Like they got interviews with her. It's like a big 9-minute interview with her. Alcorn is all over this thing, kind of like because what the hell's the game I'm thinking of? Breakout. There's a whole Breakout documentary describing how it's technically a Steve Jobs game, Breakout. Because no, but he said like, it was all bullshit. It was Steve Wozniak.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So and he doesn't get any credit for it, but it goes into detail about some of that stuff. So there's some really good documentary footage again in here. Love it. And the games are wild this time around. You get like, I'm looking at it now. You get 4 different versions of Berserk.
That's awesome.
You get the 2600 version of Berserk. You get a fan version that came out later called the voice
19 additional games. Okay.
Yeah, it's the voice enhanced Berserk which just means it has a 2600 game with vocalization, which is kind of wild. You get the 5200 version of Berserk, and you get the arcade version of Berserk. And I love Berserk. That's a cool game.
Berserk's great.
Evilado is an all-time villain.
Yeah.
So that's good. You get Frenzy, which you just saw on there, which is just that's a solid one. Red Baron. There's a whole mini documentary thing about sort of vector graphics, how they work, why certain guys really liked vector graphics. Atari didn't really do a lot of vector graphics games, but they did a few, and so one of them that's on here is the Red Baron game, which I love. The Red Baron game. It's exactly
that was fun. Yeah.
Let's see. You get Skydiver, as you saw, which I do not like Skydiver. I think that's it's just one of those like trajectory games where it's not that far removed from Lunar Lander, but like whatever.
What are it says rare prototypes in there?
That's cool. There's some just what you expect, like things that never made it to market. There's even some like again more like, oh, this was a modern game made today. Like I think there's like Aqua Venture and things like that. And it's like I'm trying to remember. There's some weird stuff that goes. There's like the Rubik's Cube game that was made. And it leans heavily into the telegames, which is the Sears stuff, which is kind of cool. It's cool to see the telegames stuff being represented, because that was a major part of the success of the Atari. Was telegames. So it's a really good expansion. I mean, sweet. I don't. It's one of those. I don't want to. I don't know how to broach this particular part, but like I don't know why it's not just a free expansion.
I mean, it does kind of feel like. I mean, I haven't played it, so I don't know, but it does kind of feel like, you guys could have. I know these are like you're gonna make like 30 extra games on this sucker. But,
I mean, that's the thing. Like these ones are just more Atari games. It's not like there's a lot of licensing fees with it. That's like, and I don't know. Like I'm assuming it's like the production of the documentary footage like has to go somewhere or something.
Sure.
But like, it's the next expansion that I feel like that would make sense to be like because that one's the one that's going to be them introducing Intellivision stuff.
Sure.
Like that's where it is, right? The Intellivision and ColecoVision stuff that was on ColecoVision, right? Is that the one they just bought? Did they buy ColecoVision? Is that the one they bought?
They bought ColecoVision. No, Intellivision. They bought Intellivision.
Yeah, it's one of those. I don't remember now. Oh well.
Because Coleco is creating their own little mini console thing, right? They made it or something like that.
But wasn't because
whatever?
It was the Amico. It's the Amico, It gets to be separate while Atari got the Intel, and then the next DLC pack is the first console war, which is going to focus on that stuff and the Intellivision stuff.
That's where we'll get some of that stuff. Cool.
And that's like that makes more sense. Mickey, I recoup those losses with this DLC kind of thing. But like this one, it's not thin on content, but it doesn't feel hefty on content either. Like the DLC, the games are all good, but they're just more of the same Atari kind of stuff.
So just more of it seems like
it's just more of the documentary footage was my favorite part of this. Like cool. the little documentary stuff that was in there because there's some really fun stories being told, and this is one thing that I liked about this set before, like previously, and still after this expansion is that they talk to the right people. I have heard enough about the history of Atari from like Nolan Bushnell. He can't really offer anything new, and he's going to lie about it because he has sort of a vested interest. It's like when you talk to Eric Bischoff about WCW. It's like he's got sort of a vested interest in some of this stuff. The programmers and the artists and the developers and stuff, they're the ones with the stories to tell, and they're the ones that they went to. So
sweet,
makes me happy.
So this is out now.
Out now. Came out
Okay.
a couple of weeks ago. I think the 26th or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one comes out in November, I think.
November, early November, like first week of November or something. Yeah.
Sprinting to November. Sprinting. Wait, we've sprinting.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's not a sprint of death because my friend. Yeah. Well, this is the time of year. You, my friend, have been playing a Death Sprint. Death Sprint 66.
Is that the full title of it? It's a Death Sprint 66?
I had no idea
that's what it was called. I don't recall it.
It's the 66th Death Sprint game.
Yeah, boy.
I think Death Sprint 38 was really good, but I can't remember.
Death Sprint 64 was...
Yeah, Death Sprint 64. Tell me about Death Sprint 66.
It be a racing game.
Oh.
But instead of car, you are man.
What? So
you
Sonic. Sonic?
You are a man that is running, a running man, as one might say. Which is definitely where
their inspiration
on its sleeve, like right down to the name of the evil corporation and it being the same, it being like Bachman, which is Stephen King's pen where he wrote Running Man under. Yeah, no, man, it's you're a clone, you're running. It controls it. Core concept, it's Mario Kart, but you're a guy.
Sure.
But there's obviously some more nuance to it. If you play it on a controller, it plays exactly like a racing game. Right trigger is go, left trigger is drift, A is jump, and X is boost. And Y is use your weapon that you collect because it has all the Mario Kart makings. But then it also has death traps, these lasers that are all over the courses, which if you run into them, you just get turned into red giblets. And it has rails that you grind on, and it has boost pads that you like jump that send you up into the sky, and it has zip lines that you can grab onto. The zip lines in the grinding rails function exactly the same as just up or down, and when you're on them, you stay there, but you can sway left and right or lean left and right, so you can collect little lightning bolts that charge up your boost, and while also dodging lasers and stuff. And it's an online racing game. Its heart and soul is being an online ranked PvP. There's a PvE mode as well. And
that's a good place to start to learn in this game.
And I think it needs a little more cooking. It's got some performance issues, and it's like a little thin. You get to upgrade your guy too. You level up. You can got all your stuff, all your rankings.
When I previewed this back in June, they mentioned they were going to be working with like some influencers to create graphics and.
You can definitely see where that stuff is going to. Oh yeah, it's got wall running too, which is really fun.
Parkour, baby.
Yeah. The cool thing about this game is I like the weight of it. It feels heavy. Like it doesn't feel like a car that is just sort of like wheels on the road and there's the traction is rubber on pavement. Like this feels like a heavy person running. Like you have to predict when you're drifting, you have to sort of predict how a person would do that. Like the weight to it's different than a car. And you have to lean into it harder than you normally would. And it has the Mario Kart thing too, where if you drift good and long, you get like a quick boost and whatever. There's a lot of Mario Kart influence in this particular game, clearly. But I don't know. Yeah, I love the weightiness of the racing. It's an interesting way to just play a racing game.
One thing
easily have been an infinite runner kind of game, or like that Tron runner.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
that's sort of when
Oh, huh.
when you first started showing this to us that a while ago, I was like, oh, is this gonna be like that Tron Runner game? Because I like that game, but it's just running and dodging obstacles and like defeating enemies and stuff. I kind of expected that's what this was gonna be, but actually like turning it into a competitive racing game, actually, because it is a lot like that Tron game in a lot of ways. It has the weapon system and everything, but like, yeah, making it a PvP, PvE racing game as a guy makes a lot of sense that you don't see a lot of this concept. It make like you don't see a lot of humans racing. There's not a lot of foot racing stuff.
Sure.
And to sort of put it into that dystopian, like you're watching these people get horribly murdered, because like every time you get killed, there's like a an announcer, so or like a person like readying the next clone, so it's just like they're completely devoid of the fact that like of any feeling for these people that you're playing as, which cool, that's a cool idea.
It's funny because this well, not funny, but it's interesting because haha ha 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 ha. No, the game when I previewed it, and I'm curious to see how you think. When I previewed it, watching videos of it, watching somebody else play seemed absolutely chaotic until I got my hands on it and realized, oh, I can control this. I get it.
Yeah, no, this game it's not chaotic. I mean, because at the end, it still is just a racing game at the end of the day.
Sure.
It just, for whatever reason, when you remove a car and replace it with a guy, it just makes it seem like it's more insane. Like yeah, you're still bumping and grinding into other people racing, and like you can just kind of push guys into the lasers and stuff. Like it's kind of
cool.
there was no. I was able to adapt to it instantly. The second you pick it up, you instinctively know how to play this game. If you've ever played a racing game, all of those things that you understand from racing games carry over into this. It's just you have to learn the physics differently because the weight's different. The weight's way different. So like you can't just control him like he's a car. You have to control it like it's a person with two legs. Like it's like because like a car, it's the wheels are stationary for the most part, and they just pivot and turn and point in the direction and go. Like with this, it's like the legs can kind of just like, you have to take into account the fact that a person has to slow down, has to like
they have momentum, physical momentum.
Different kind of momentum, and like the way legs work are so completely different than how tires work, that it takes a minute for your brain to be like, oh yeah, that's right, not a car.
Okay.
Also, Mountain Dew Voodoo 2024.
Oh, that's out. Okay.
Yeah, it's some sort of strawberry item. I'm going to assume pink Starburst, but anyways.
Have your hands on Mountain Dew. Yeah. You've also had your hands on a game controller.
Yeah. Listen,
I'm gonna play this video right here just to kind of show this, and we'll hop into was it the cracked Atom?
Yeah. Yep. The Atom.
Look how tiny this sucker is.
Yeah. So so they were nice enough to send us a copy. I guess, I don't know. Sent us one of these cracked Atom controllers, and because we reviewed the Nitro deck that you got, and I've had one. They liked it, and they're like, we're more than willing to check out whatever you got. We're a big fan of your stuff. So they have these new things, these Atom controllers, as you can see here. It's a little tiny hanger box. It's great.
Oh man,
make no mistake about it. These are designed to just be a fun novelty. That being said, though, they didn't have to go as hard as they did.
I love that.
So got the sleeve off. So when I first got it, the reaction, because when you see this box, this is sort of This is sort of how the size I expected it to be.
Sure.
So it's pretty small still as for a controller. So it's got an O-ring. So when you open it up and this is what you see.
Oh, it's even smaller.
Like
you're half the box.
Son of a gun.
Freaking adorable. That box looks nice too.
Yeah, it's a nice box. It's and it's got a little foam pad under there.
Oh, look at the little liner in there.
It comes with a itty bitty little USB-C braided. It's a braided cable.
Nice.
That little section in the middle there is braided. So good for you guys. And a lanyard.
Keep it on a lanyard. Yeah.
Keep it. Because to be fair, these are designed to be. It says right on the box, right there, collect them all. Because they have a dozen colors for them. I went with Glacier Blue.
Oh my God! Look at that! Look at that little thing.
Awesome. For comparison.
It's a Game Boy Micro controller. Yeah.
For comparison, here is with an Xbox controller.
Oh my gosh, the blue Xbox controller.
Yeah, Sky Cipher. Yeah. And for let's see. And here is the
comparison.
Here's a switch with the Nitro deck and the little guy.
Nice. Oh my gosh.
I'm pressing it right onto the screen right there. It is
so
it is small.
How does it feel? How does it feel in that size?
That's the thing. Like when you first grab it, you're like, what am I doing with myself? But to be fair to it, like it's not the greatest controller, obviously, in terms of ergonomics. But they put things they shaped it the way it should be shaped to make it as comfortable as possible. You can see it's not flat. It's actually ergonomic. It's actually rounded off and it's a little bubbled on the back. So like I can hold it like a controller and have my fingers on. These are clicky too. I don't know if you.
Nice.
Yeah,
love that. Sounds like a chipmunk.
The face buttons are just typical. They don't have a click to them. They're just typical. So, you can hold it like a normal controller, not too far removed. I don't have huge hands, so this is like for somebody like Aaron, old Scratty Bones. It'd be impossible. There's no way. For me, this is great. It actually feels okay to hold. And even in their own messaging, sort of the idea for it to be is small, collectible. They come in a dozen different colors, like I said. If you, as of the recording of this, if you go to their website, they even have a deal right now where it's like the more you buy, the more you save, kind of thing.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's like. Yeah, they're $20 a piece. This is the perfect price for something like this.
There's some
like
sweet
I said,
color combos.
Yeah,
this one you have Glacier Blue.
That's the one I got because I like the blue with purple, magenta accents. Yellow and black is like my personal.
Oh, that's a nice one too.
That was the one I almost got, but I needed clear plastic, and this was clueless to me. But like I was saying, even in their own messaging is like, this is like. On the go. This is your player 2. This is your. I brought my Switch with me. Would you like to play some Game X?
Okay.
All I've got is this controller because you'll know first and foremost that this only has a D-pad. There is no joystick. So that cuts out pretty much most games. This is designed almost exclusively for on the Switch, the Nintendo Switch Online games, the NES games, the SNES games, Game Boy. So yes, this works on the Switch. It's Bluetooth, so it also works on phones,
PC and phones. That could be cool.
And phones. So I have been pretty much exclusively using this on my phone. As if we could have planned things out a little better. Because I was talking about RetroArch earlier being on the iOS. That's where I've been using this.
So it works with like those. Oh, that would be perfect then. Yeah.
Yeah, it just recognizes it as an Xbox controller. So
Nice.
it's just Bluetooth and it works perfect for playing mobile games. You throw this thing in your front shirt pocket, you throw it in your backpack or whatever little, you know, it fits in the key pocket on your jeans. You know, it's perfect for playing mobile legally backed up ROMs of your favorite of your favorite NES titles on the go. This thing's perfect for that. It's like I'm not putting a lot of time into it, so I don't have to worry about hand cramping for being a little tiny thing. And like if we were sitting next to each other and I pulled my Switch out, I say, "You want to play some Contra?" This would be perfect to just like boot up Switch Online, hand you this little guy, and play, co-op Contra, couch co-op Contra and stuff. This is a really, really good and convenient mobile game controller. Your hand size dependent, obviously. Like this obviously can't be for everyone. But even at the $20 price point, I think the novelty of it alone is like, it's good to have in anybody's little, like, for guys like us around here in particular. There's at least 3 guys on the show that are controller guys. And this is a good one for the collection. I will actually probably keep this in my work bag.
I was gonna say, this looks like something I will definitely have in my work bag.
Yeah,
you have the ability to play on iPhone.
Yeah,
in the middle, just like I could really see myself at the office on break, thinking, you know what, I'm sitting at my desk at lunch, I'm eating a sandwich or leftovers from the night before. I'm just gonna take this sucker and just play a little bit of gaming on my phone.
No, this thing is going to be attached to my keys. Well, probably not my keys, probably just the key hook in my backpack. And yeah, if I just want to play some any mobile game, like, and that's the thing too, like, so many mobile games have controller support now anyway, so
it's light, obviously, right?
Oh yeah, this thing weighs absolutely nothing.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
easy to set up with Bluetooth. You use the app, right?
Yeah, no, there's no
okay.
There's no app. It comes with a little flyer in there to tell you hold down the cracked button in the middle, and then like there is you want it to connect to the Switch, you do this combination. If you want it to connect to connect to iOS, you hold up and you hold down the up and cracked button to put it into pairing mode, and it's there's no the cracked app only exists to like collect these things, which I will say I did scan because all of their devices have a little NFC thing in it. You tap it to the app and it registers it, and it tells you what number yours is and all that nonsense. And which one does it say this one is? I am number 48.
48.
2,966. It even gave me a little top 100 badge to go with it. So, I'm what you call the elite.
The elite. You're being the elite. This is cool. I'm totally grabbing one of these things.
Yeah, it's like
no-brainer.
Even through their own messaging, they know that they know that this is a collectible little guy that works, and it doesn't, like, if you just want to play an NES game or a Super NES game or
this is to be honest, we're gonna
perfect.
I think we may do a Christmas, like a holiday gift list this year. This might be something like for $20 and under. This might be something perfect.
This I will go on record right now and saying, if there is somebody in your life that plays mobile games, this is the perfect stocking stuffer. Because it's cute, it's kind of funny, but it's well designed and it works. So like, yeah, if you see this and you're like, oh, that's kind of cute, just get it. You will not be unhappy with the purchase of one of these, I think.
Awesome.
So I highly recommend this. It's still baffling to see how small this thing is, and the fact that the idea of tiny controllers isn't anything new, but every time you see them, they're like the cheap, weird Temu style nonsense that just don't feel good. Like this feels like it's well made. Like the plastic feels like controller plastic. Awesome. It feels like something you would have gotten in the 90s. It really does. Like. And I'm happy. Bravo, guys! I'm glad you pulled this off, because I really just thought it was just going to be. I'm like, I wanted it as a goof. I'm like, that's funny. I love the Nitro deck, but that's just funny. I'll get that. But no, they actually made something that's kind of worth it. So
sweet.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get one. Sign me up. Also, sign me up to head to bed.
And while we're signing things up, sign up for the YouTube. Hit the bell, hit the notification.
This guy right here. Yeah. Sorry, hit the notification, sign up, subscribe, click like, YouTube, Twitch. Obviously not on X.
Yeah.
Fuck that, because we can't stream on there. We ain't paying. And be ready, because I've been working on the Patreon stuff. And JJ, I'll get you and the team your opinions this weekend once I get some stuff loaded up. But hop on the Discord. Go to sidequesting.com, hop into the Discord. Well, if you go to sidequesting.com, you can see all of our social links for the site there. YouTube, Twitch, SideQuesting TV. Hop in the Discord. That's where we hang out. That's where we talk. That's where news breaks first before my ass gets time to actually post on the site, because I'm busy these days. So, but definitely join the community. It is awesome. And like JJ said, please subscribe, like, hit that bell, blah, blah, blah. You hear it all the time from YouTube folks, but really it does help. I mean, you're not going to know. You could freaking turn a notification off on your YouTube app on your phone. That's okay. But just hit that subscribe button. It's a tiny, or a like button, both. It's a tiny little thing that helps little shows like us.
Listen, we're not going to ruin your algorithm. Don't worry. We're cool.
We're going to be okay. Trust us. You can trust Uncle Dolly and Aunt JJ in your in your algorithms. With that, again, that's where you can find us. I'm Dolly Domofsky. That is JJ Holder, and we are tired. It's only 7 o'clock on your side of town. It's 10 by me. I'm going to go play some video games and fall asleep, and edit and fall asleep.
Finish, or you start Zelda, finish whatever.
Whatever. I'm gonna do one of those things. Yeah. My friend is always good. Good to chat with you, and good to chat with our viewers and our listeners and everybody. And we'll see you on the next episode of
the SideQuest.